Hello everybody, I'm Alfred, and I would like to talk about the Simone Biles situation. Simone Biles, the quitter. Apparently this female, this African American athlete, you know, she quit in the middle of the Olympics. After her gymnasts move and getting such a low score, she just quits in the middle of the competition. And of course, just like Naomi Osaka, who was on their mental health rampage, and is saying she takes a break from the sports. It goes a long way to see how woke culture and liberals and that liberal ideology is destroying everything American. Now, Germany, what are Germany or Russia? I think it was Russia. Now won that competition because Simone Biles, their star player, quit. Now, this is not surprising, but these kinds of things are going to continue because women are now held to a different standard, and especially when somebody is a female African American, and perhaps if they add LGBT to it, you know, it is now like they have more privileges and can get away with more, and they cannot be criticized. Everything they do is right. Imagine if Michael Jordan, in the middle of the Olympics, just quit and say that um he could not play because of stress or mental health issues, or so called. Understand something about sports. As an athlete, you should be mentally equipped to handle your job and understand that an athlete should be able to stand pressure. Simone Biles was not this way, to the best of my understanding, until she started getting into all this um, work culture. Because there is a lot of sensitivity training. Of course, I'm sure she's one of the people who supported Naomi Osaka. When you support this weakness, this promotion of weakness, they destroy. And I told you that they want to destroy everything that is perceived white, everything that is Western civilization, everything that would make white people look um, great or aspire, think highly of themselves or have any good self esteem, which is part of the reason why they have advanced as they do. However, other people are allowed to have self esteem, except African Americans who, you have to believe you are a nobody and you are less privileged. And if you are African American or you have African descent, if your skin is dark and you don't believe you are less privileged because of your race, then you are suffering from self hate. You are where the cloud chaser and all of that kind of nonsense. That they try to throw on people like Candice Owens. But you see, this is what the left does. And this is something that is an engine in itself. It's unfortunate that it will only continue. Simone Biles before, when athletes were meant to push, one of the most inspirational videos of an athlete, it was something I saw as a child. I don't know what competition that was, but it was running, and this guy broke his leg. His leg broke, and you could see the tears in his eyes, but he kept running with one broken leg, and you could see like his dreams was just shattered. This was a guy with a broken. It was visibly broken, and everybody just opened their mouths. Maybe if you know what I'm talking about, you can actually send me a link or actually specify what event that was. But this is something that actually happened. This is something that you could say about an athlete. It's just like people now saying that the NBA is soft. When you watch old games like the Allen Iverson games, how many times did Allen Iverson fall during the game? You would think when you watch someone like Allen Iverson in the old NBA games, you would think that somebody threatened to kill his family if he doesn't win. Athletes put their all in what they do. But now, when it comes to America, and all this, you are oppressed, you are suffering from a pass down of slavery, um, depression syndrome or whatever nonsense, that they are trying to solve. I heard something like that from the fellow called Charlemagne, who is best called, is accurately to be called Charlemagne the racist from, the Breakfast Club, because that guy just straight up a racist. He hates white people, brings mayonnaise jars, and those shows like what guess what race is. It's just everything is about white man bad. Oh, look at how white people are this and all of that, and that is on radio, and imagine if a show existed where a white guy brought a, a bunch of bananas and put it on the table on a radio show, on a TV show, and said, oh, and started talking about African Americans or Africans, and then making fun of them and using the banana as, a parody, of course, linking that with monkeys. How would that flow? But it is okay for Charlemagne the racist to be bringing jars of mayonnaise and be making all kinds of jokes and racist jokes against white people. Apparently, that is okay. Just like it is okay to insult Christians, it's okay to insult Jesus. There's no repercussions for that. Look at the nonsense that Little Nas X is doing. And even SNL encouraged that. Britney Spears came out from nowhere to encourage that nonsense. To make fun of Jesus is okay, but they won't make fun of Muhammad. And the same people that would fight and say that you shouldn't make fun of Muhammad, and I'm talking about now the world and the leftists, they are okay with making fun of Jesus. Why is there a difference? You see, so you have to be wise and understand what is happening and who is really your friend and who is really your enemy. Of course, we are going to do our best to win these people to Christ. But we are not going to put ourselves in a situation where Christianity is disadvantaged, because it is very easy for things to go back to persecution in the sense of throwing Christians to lions. We are already in a situation where many aspects of Christianity, if you were to practice it in many parts of the world, you will be thrown in jail. So that's just a stone's throw away from being thrown to the lions for being a Christian. We cannot let that happen. We cannot see it coming and then let it happen. Realize that just like the Jews, which I've said many times, before the Jews were thrown into concentration camp by Adolf Hitler, the Jews were being persecuted on an increasing basis. If you were to plot a map of how Jews were persecuted, right from the days of the Russian Tsar, the Jews were persecuted. And the persecution was increasing and increasing and increasing. Where did you think it will end up going? Later, when they started throwing them into concentration camp and they killed millions of them, that's when it's everybody realized that it's a disaster. When you can see an upward trend of persecution, that is bad. Stop it in time, because there is only one direction that it will go to: the complete demonization of a group or a race of people, which will lead to their extermination on sites. So these are things that you have to understand, that, and this is what the Bible tells us. These clearly the plans that the devil has. The devil wants this for Christians. So we have to fight and do all that we can. Now we must open our eyes to these things. It's funny that this Simone Biles issue, if it was a white man that quit in the middle of a competition, the story would have been different. All the leftists would sing a different song. And there are a lot of silly people who are saying things like, well, when you can be a gymnast that can win medals like her and somersault and all of that like her, that you earn the right to criticize her. If that is the biggest display of foolishness, you should also use that theory with anybody else. You should have used that with Donald Trump. When you can win an election like Donald Trump and rule a country like Donald Trump and create so much success and advancements, for the economy, like Donald Trump did, then you can criticize him if you want to, apply that theory. And if you want to really go with that theory, then you shouldn't shout at any basketball game, since you cannot shoot a jump shot like any of the basketballers in the NBA. It's like saying that you cannot say that so and so you don't like this NBA player, or this NBA player is not that good, because you yourself are not in the NBA, you do not qualify to be in the NBA, or saying that, oh, this person is not a good American football player, that you like this guy or this guy, but you don't like this guy. You shouldn't be able to say that because you never got into the NFL. It's that same kind of thinking. It's basically silly and insane. You should also as well apply that to movies and say you should never criticize a movie or say you don't like a movie because you are not capable of making a movie like that until you have made a movie that is like that. Then you are now qualified to criticize and say that you do not like the movie. You might also apply that to music as well. So it goes on and on. It's crazy, but you see, it has turned into a thing of this side are the racists and this side are not the racists. So whatever thing that is on the left, I have to make sense of it and agree with it so that I am not a racist. So a lot of the things that the people on the left are doing is crazy because even though a lot has changed, times have changed, I know for a fact that if it was a white guy that quits in this Olympics in the middle of a competition, the story would be different. She didn't wound, there was no injury, nothing. She just quits in the middle of his so-called mental health issues. I understand something about all this mental health nonsense, just like depression. When you believe in all this mental health nonsense that they are teaching, that mental health this and all this mental health awareness and all these mental issues and all this passed down slavery, because your ancestors so and so years were slaves, so there's a passed down depression that you could encounter, and there's a passed down trauma from the slavery that you did not experience, that has now been passed down to you. When you believe in all that kind of nonsense, it makes you weak. And guess what? It's making every other country stronger because they are not buying into your foolishness. Now the Russians have walked away with medals that, if this female has not bought into the leftist ideology and all of that, would not have gone for. But the reality of the matter is that, in addition to that, there's also the financial end. Because now, Simone Biles is now more popular than ever. If she had just won that award, she would not have had the endorsements and the media fanfare that is around her that she now has. And she can now expand that to a lot of endorsement deals and make a lot of money. Just like the African American, with a very strange sounding name who smoked weed and was not allowed to perform in the Olympics, and people wanted to make an issue about it. But let's understand something. That rule was for everybody. You see, that rule was for everybody. People want to bring race into that matter. Why would somebody who, is competing in the Olympics, is supposed to compete in the Olympics, why would she take drugs? Why would she smoke weed? Don't bring all this topic of, weed slows you down, that weed is not a performance enhancing drug. That is not the point. And that rule applies to everybody. What about the white people? If they also, they had to comply to it. If they had smoked weed, they would have been put to the side. This rhetoric, there a lot of things that African Americans believe are just pies in the skies ideas of oppression that are sold to them, that they eat up, and it helps to keep them in place as perpetual victims, and they fight against any African American who does not see themselves as a victim. You have silly people like Logan Paul challenging Candace Owens, and he believes that, and he doesn't see how racist his comments are. He believes that all African Americans are underprivileged. If you're African American, you're underprivileged, and he's better off than you, so he has to fight for you. Because he's white, so he has more privileges than you. How can you say that you are more privileged than me just because of the color of your skin, and then say that you are not a racist? The exact thing that you just said is just a depiction of racism. You have said that no matter how much money I have, no matter whatever I achieve, because of the color of my skin, I am underprivileged, and you are privileged. And there are a lot of foolish African Americans who like this kind of ideology. Well, I'd rather be the one that is privileged, and you be the one that is underprivileged. You can't see things that way. You can't, you enjoy, you fight to hold on to the idea that because of your skin color, you are underprivileged. And I'm talking to a lot of these crazy African Americans. It is weird. You see, and that is why you would remain where you are. And no matter how much money is given to you, you will never rise up. Because you believe that you are underprivileged. You believe you are nobody. If you believe that you cannot stand, no matter how many people try to pull you up, you will never get up. If you believe that you cannot get up and you are not making any efforts to get up, you believe that your destiny is to lie on the ground. No matter how many people try to pull you up, it will not work. They may be so strong, they may try to prop you up, but you will just be like a rag. And with any little thing, you will slump back down. And eventually, they will probably get tired and leave you where you have always wanted to be. And understand that even them propping you up, that is not standing. That is still you. That is just you being a rag doll that is propped up. You see, you are still in that situation because of you, because of the nonsense you have been sold, that you're a perpetual victim, and you fight for holding up to your victimization. You fight for this foolishness that anywhere that police are, they are trying to pull you over and shoot you. You have ignorant people like LeBron James saying that African Americans are scared of coming out of their homes. Even Barack Obama said that kind of nonsense. Him and his wife or whatever that it is that he's married to. You see, these issues, are very telling. And it is obvious where all of this is going. At the end of the day, it will lead to using African Americans as a cancer to destroy all of Western society. And it will be an opportunity to build something new. So in the meantime, I personally, in as much as stuff should be done to open people's eyes and lift people up, and to stop the disaster that is already impending, plans, I will personally make plans. So when the time comes for building something new, I would actually be able to kick the New World Order folks to the side. But of course that in itself is a risky plan. So that is just, I would say, plan B. But you know what they are doing, by destroying. So since you already know what they plan to do and the direction that they are successfully going into, which will eventually, for America to stand, there will have to be a pushback against African Americans, which will be interpreted as the most racist thing ever, since the KKK. But, it will, the way things are going, it will have to be probably actually racist, and very forceful. But then again, African Americans have been racist for so long and they don't recognize it, and they have even redefined racism, so to give them more leeway to be as racist as they can, and I'll say that for somebody to be racist, they have to have all the power in the world or whatever nonsense. They have to have systematic power to control systems. Like if anybody can control systems, especially systems in the Western world, more than African Americans and LGBT folks, who are making everybody bow and bend to their will. But apparently, the funny thing is that the BLM and the LGBT organizations are just fronts for people who actually use this as tools for their own agenda to destroy and then rebuild. And those are the people whose slogan is boldly build back better. That being said, remember to check out alfred.vip, and don't be somebody that's supposed quitting and calls those who are quitters heroes or those who are quitters brave. No, those who are quitters are quitters. Don't train your children in that way. If you are in America or Western society, I implore you to train your child yourself. Don't leave it to the schools. The schools will destroy your child. By the end of the day, you will not be able to recognize your child, and God will not accept your child, because the current system is creating people that are destined for hell. Not only will they create hell on earth, they will end up in the actual hell. that is hell. So to give your life to Christ, go to salvationprayer.alfred.vip. God bless you.